Hey everyone, Shabim here and welcome back to the final episode of SWE Rising before we hit our major 4-part finale, Shabby Mania. Tonight is going to be the last bit of build-up here live from Honolulu, Hawaii. And here is our opening match of the evening. It is going to be a tag team match. Rey Mysterio and Tiger Mask taking on Ultimo Dragon and Jushin Liger. Which means it's now time to announce one of our final matches for Shabby Mania. It is going to be a Dream Fatal 4-way involving 4 of the best junior heavyweights / cruiserweights ever to grace the wrestling scene. And I'm really looking forward to this match of Shabby Mania. And this is just a chance to showcase some of their ability in this Tornado Tag Team match. Now tonight's episode is solely going to be 3 Tornado Tag Team matches. We have this one. We're then going to have the Intercontinental Championship one. So in that one we're going to have Kenny Omega teaming with Kota Ibushi to take on the team of Hiroshi Tanahahsi and Tetsuya Naito. And then in our main event is going to be the Rising Championship one as AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan team up once again. Of course the World Cup winners with America, or the USA, are going to be taking on Kazuchika Okada and Shinsuke Nakamura, who are also part of the Japanese World Cup team. So both those teams quite used to teaming with each other. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this one pans out as well. I think it'll be a pretty cool match, and like I said, it's a tag team match. We're going to get a chance to showcase the ability of these guys in the ring and really give you a bit of a taster of what is to come at Shabby Mania. But of course, our next part of this universe mode will be the opening match for Shabby Mania, which is a I don't know what happened there. I think there's a scratch on the record. Our first match is going to be a Battle Royal / Royal Rumble, whatever you want to call it these days. Utilising all the people that are not involved in the Shabby Mania card at this point in time, plus a few legends thrown in here and there. The idea of that match is to... well, the winner is going to get a chance at a United States Championship, joining Austin Aries and CM Punk at a triple threat match later on in the card, on the third video, that one. So that's going to be an interesting match. It sort of gives all these guys a real opportunity to showcase what they can do, because there's quite a few big names in that Rumble now. When you look at some of the names that didn't qualify for any of the matches, so for example, we've got... who have we got? Well, those guys won't have matches. Chris Jericho, Eddie Guerrero, Seth Rollins, Jay White, Travis Banks, Goto, Suzuki, Danny Burch, Ishii, Walter, Ono, Lorcan, Harper, Shibata. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of big names. Gallows and Anderson, Gorillas of Destiny, the Young Bucks, Red Dragon. There's so many names that are going to actually be in that. Although I've still got one match left to announce, and I think I might actually mix that up a little bit. I'm not sure. It's still a little bit open at the moment what we're going to be doing in that match, and I'm just trying to think of a good way of doing it. Or yeah, still one space left. I don't quite know what to do with it, but I'll figure something out. I did have a match in mind, but I don't think it really works. Now we've not had enough time to build up to it, so it seems a little bit pointless. Oh, I could do that, but I haven't got someone else to be... okay. I'll figure something out. Don't you worry. We'll have something special for you. Because we have the... we have the space now, don't we? Yep. Those people are not being used in the show. That's fine. So I just need somebody to join that match, and that's going to be the iffy one, because the 2 people that could join that match... oh no, I could bring in. Okay, yeah, that's fine. I know what I'm doing. Don't you worry. I know what I'm doing. Just about. I mean, it's debatable that I know what I'm doing, but I am, honestly. So Jushin Liger, when we talk about legends in wrestling, this is got to be one of the main ones that everyone will always talk about. 25, 30 years in the business now. The guy's in his late 50s and he can still move better than a lot of the guys in WWE, and it's just an outstanding name, and still working indies across the Americas as well as, of course, Japan as well. He's just an amazing, amazing guy, isn't he? And the bell goes underway. The match is underway. The bell rings. I have lost the ability to actually say the right words at the right time at the moment, so that should be interesting for tonight's episode. We might have to have subtitles. If anyone can subtitle this video what I actually meant when I actually say the wrong words, that'd be great. So Liger straight away. Who's teaming? I forgot what the teams are. Right, it's Liger and Tiger Mask versus. No, it's not. It's Ray and Tiger Mask versus Liger and Ultimo. God, I really messed that up, haven't I? And yeah, I'm still thinking about the next season of Rising. As I've said before, I feel like I want to reduce the roster size somewhat. Utilize the names a lot better, hopefully. I'm also thinking in shortening the season as well. From this one was at 30 episodes. I might shorten that down to potentially between 20 and 25 videos. And the main reason behind that is it just gives us a chance to get more universes modes. Oh god, I told you I can't talk. It gives us a chance to get more universe modes done throughout the entirety of 2K19. Chance to showcase more of our rosters, and just a case that if we do something that you're not interested in, then it should only ever last about 4 to 5 weeks at the longest. So that's my sort of idea behind that one. I've got some interesting things that I want to do. We'll throw some tournaments in there as well. I mean, if they're shorter seasons and shorter videos like they are now, we'll get a lot more done. It should be a lot more entertaining at the same time as well. I think there's a lot of tournaments we can do as we go along to sort of complement the universe modes we're in as well, which I think would be good. For example, I think they're doing like a tag team tournament at some point. Maybe we can coincide that with one of the universe modes that hasn't got a tag team champions, or we can do a King of Pro Wrestling, and that can be coincided with somebody getting a shot at an upcoming universe mode, which I think would be great as well. That's not a bad idea though, actually, is it? If we did like a King of Pro Wrestling tournament, showcasing all the best wrestlers in the world, it could be a massive knockout tournament if we wanted to. What we could do then is we could actually have a situation where the winner of that tournament gets a championship match in whatever universe mode they want to have that match in. So we could always treat it almost like a Money in the Bank situation where, I don't know, they could have that contract at a guaranteed match and they can just turn up whenever they want in any universe mode and challenge for any belt. I think that'd be a nice idea, actually. I think that'd be quite interesting. Nice there by Ray with the powerbomb. The sunset flip bomb, either way. And we are seeing a lot of high-flying ability, but it's going to be even better in a couple of episodes' time, of course, at Shabby Mania, when it is all four of these guys against each other. Ray now catching Jushin Liger on the ropes. There's the 6-1-9. But the problem is Ultimo is in control of Tiger Mask, so there's not going to be any defense for Ray when he goes for the pin, which he does now. Ultimo's there and he's going to break it straight away. I remember some matches between Ray and Ultimo in WCW in the mid to late-ish 90s. And you think at the time, I probably never really appreciated him at the time because I would have only been about 10 years old then, maybe less than that. And I probably never really appreciated him. I've noticed that a lot with wrestling though. People I used to hate when I was younger. I remember hearing someone talking about this recently. I can't remember who it was now. I think it was, that's what it was. It was what listened to a Colt Cabana podcast. And Colt Cabana was saying about how he used to watch WCW and WWE, and he used to sit there and want to see the likes of Rey Mysterio flying around everywhere and those sort of guys. And he said that people like Dean Malenko used to come on screen. He used to go, Dean Malenko, get off our screen, I'm bored. I hate watching Dean Malenko. He bores the life out of me. And I remember having the same thoughts about people like Malenko and Chris Benoit. But as I've got older, I've sort of realised that they were the guys. They were the best. I mean, at the time, I never really appreciated the Radical stable. But now I look back and I think to myself, God, those four guys together were absolutely insane. Well, I'm maybe being a... Well, I don't know about the Perry Saturn situation. I feel like Perry Saturn was a little bit behind those other three guys. But Malenko, Guerrero, and Benoit were just outstanding. And you put those 4 guys together, and you literally just had an absolute dream. And it's just such a shame for me that Malenko never really got the plaudits that he so deserved. And I'd love to. I have got like a few new planned rosters for 2K19, and I must admit one of those planned rosters is an extension of the current 205 Live roster in WWE, and would sort of take the 205 Live roster plus a few of our own names and a few other high flyers from around the world. And there's a victory there for Jushin Liger though. But that'd be interesting to have someone like a Dean Malenko as maybe one of the main guys on that roster. I think that'd be pretty cool actually, have him fighting at the top end against some of the big names. And I don't know what you guys think. I know I've got a varied age range on the channel based on the analytics. We've got 100% male now, so if you are female watching these videos, please do let me know, because according to YouTube, 100% of my viewers are male at the moment. I know there's a decent age range though. We've got people from younger age spanning all the way to over 50s. Apparently there's a couple on the channel watching the videos. Whether that's somebody using somebody else's account, I've got no idea, but we come from very different age ranges, and I think that does allow a great sort of variation in the sort of people that the fan base enjoys. And I'd love to see someone like Dean Malenko do really well in one of our universe modes. And I think Dean Malenko versus Pete Dunne is a match that I want to have done in our universe mode at some point, and 2K19 might just make that possible. And here is our second match of the evening. It is going to be the Intercontinental Championship Tag Team match. Another way to build up to Shabby Mania, as we have Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi, of course the Golden Lovers, I think is correct, taking on the team of Tetsuya Naito and Hiroshi Tanahahsi. Of course, at Shabby Mania, this will be a fatal 4-way elimination match for the Intercontinental Championship, and it's going to be freaking awesome. I'm looking forward to that one. These 4 guys, fantastic wrestlers. Couldn't have asked for a better fatal 4-way, really. Apart from maybe the Rising Championship one, which of course AJ Styles, Okada, Daniel Bryan and Shinsuke Nakamura. Which is something that, I was going to say something WWE could do. They haven't got Okada, have they? But I'm sure Triple H has been, I've read a few rumours recently that Triple H has been pushing to try and get some sort of working agreement with New Japan, which, I mean, would be, well, I don't know if it would be good or not, to be honest, because it would be great for WWE, but probably great merchandising for New Japan, to be honest with you, but I don't think we would get a massive benefit. It would seem like an amazing idea, and then would end up with like Roman Reigns versus Nakamura, Roman Reigns versus Okada, and you sat there thinking, well, this was just a waste of time, wasn't it? I mean, if they gave us like Okada and AJ Styles or some sort of things, then maybe it could be good. But it was also, I read a rumor a few days ago that WWE and TNA had a meeting as well, some of the TNA bigwigs. That they stressed fully afterwards it was nothing to do with buying more of the library, and it was nothing to do with TakeOver, but they wouldn't say what it was. Rumour had that it was just a chance for them to touch base and have a discussion about the direction both companies are going in, and probably the wrestling industry in general, and it's a good thing. It means that they're obviously willing to sit down and have these conversations, and it's interesting to see that, and I like that idea. And who knows, maybe the two of them can come to some sort of agreement here and there that would allow a benefit to both sides. And what that would be, I don't know. Maybe WWE would loan some talent to TNA to give them the exposure on TV, give them that experience, because WWE have got to realise that some of the people they let go that had a run in TNA have come back a lot better. You look at EC3, you look at Drew McIntyre, people like that, then those sort of guys had a great run in TNA, and I wouldn't be adverse to the loan idea. Imagine if WWE gave TNA somebody for 2 years or for a year. There you go, give this guy a year's worth of TV time on your show. We'll pay his wages, you've got someone free on your roster, and he gets the experience working on TV and working backstage and working at the top end of a card rather than being stuck fighting for a place in NXT. I think it's a possibility, and I know WWE have really opened the doors a lot over the last year or so with other companies. I mean, they're allowing talent to go and work for Evolve. Of course, they've got a pretty good deal with Evolve. Talent has worked elsewhere recently as well. They're allowing talent to go across the UK quite a lot. I know Finn Balor's turned up at ICW and Progress Wrestling a couple of times, obviously in a a non-competitive role, but some of the other guys that are fully contracted have turned up in a competitive role. I'm pretty sure Drew McIntyre was allowed to wrestle at an ICW event not long ago. So it's interesting. I like the idea, and it'll be it could just be a massive just red herring. It could just be literally be, like they said, a chance for the two teams of management to get together. And I know I did read that Vince McMahon wasn't involved. It was Triple H and his team with TNA and, well, not TNA, Impact Wrestling. And to be honest, with Impact, and I don't like to give them credit, to be honest, they have been putting the best product on they have done in a very, very long time over the last 6 months, and they really have, in my opinion, on quality of show, and actually quality of wrestling and so forth, TNA for me are outdoing WWE at this point in time. Maybe it was some sort of like combined plot to take Vince out. Would that work? Is that a bit harsh? I mean, you look at the shows that Vince is in charge of, and you look at the shows that Triple H are in charge of, and Triple H ones is much better. Much, much better, I think. I mean, you look at NXT, you look at 205 Live, the two of them. Well, the best one is 205 Live, because you look at that and you see what it was before. We've seen what it was for about a year or so, and now we can also see what it's like when Triple H has taken over, and the quality difference is massive. It really, really was. It really was massive, and I think that's a pretty cool thing to see. Actually, it just shows the difference between the two, and the sort of potential that there is for the future as well. Like, we know there's already fantastic. We know there's fantastic prospects in NXT, and you think when they get onto the main roster and we start to get rid of some of the... Let's not get rid of some of the dead wood, I suppose is the best way of putting it. I mean, there is a lot of dead wood. We need to admit that on the main roster. There's a lot of people there that are just there. Don't get me wrong, there are some very, very good people there as well, but yeah, it's interesting. I'm looking forward to it now. I'm looking forward to the future. See how much we can go. See how much enjoyment we can get, or whether it's going to end up being just the same old for years upon years upon years. Who the hell knows these day and age? Either way, all four men are in the ring now, and we look like we are ready to get underway. In another tornado tag, so Kota Ibushi and Kenny Omega taking on the team of Tetsuya Naito and Hiroshi Tanahahsi. Again, a great way for one of these teams to build momentum. Of course, Kota Ibushi comes into this as the Intercontinental Champion, and you say it's a great way of building up the momentum. And of course, remember that whoever does win, it pretty doesn't matter too much for these guys, but whoever does win will be guaranteed a spot on the next Rising roster, and that is... It's a good thing, but at the same time, I don't think any of these guys are under any threat of not being on that Rising roster. I reckon these four guys might end up on quite a lot of different rosters, to be honest. I think you'll see them in a lot of different places, and I think that I like that. I do like that. I think it's a pretty cool idea to have the best of the best, basically. Each roster's got its own different style, but these guys fit into quite a lot of variations. They fit on, well, I don't know, I'm sort of changing my idea with Throwdown week upon week. It's sort of like evolving over and over again, so it'd be interesting to see how that ends up in the end. But there's Kota Ibushi, nice boot right to the side of the head of Tanahahsi, and Kota Ibushi and Kenny Omega really dominating here. And I think this is, we should at some point use the Golden Lovers as a tag team. I think it would be great to have them and maybe the Young Bucks as a separate tag team, and maybe feuding against each other, because I think those four guys would have some absolutely incredible matches. I think they did, didn't they? They had a great tag team match at New Japan before they realigned, because of course Kenny Omega had sort of half left Bullet Club at that point. And the Bucks were alongside the likes of Cody and that, and it didn't really work out, did it? As nice 450 attempt there by Kota. Ibushi missed as Tanahahsi rolled out the way. Neckbreaker by Tetsuya Naito on Kenny Omega. Remember, we've still got the main event here for you this evening. Then we've still got one more Tornado Tag Team match. AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan versus Nakamura and Okada. Is that right? Yeah. I forgot which way I'd done it round then. Oh, of course it was. Yeah, I said about it, didn't I? It's a sort of spin-off from our original World Cup where it was Team USA, Team Japan. There is a possibility of another World Cup in 2K19 should you guys want to see it as well. Pinned there by Omega after the ripcord knee strike. Not enough though. Pretty close though, 2 count. As Naito fighting back on Omega. Tanahahsi helping him take over, but Omega straight back in control. Dropping Tanahahsi in that high backdrop right on the back of the head and back of the neck. Very, very dangerous way of doing it. Tanahahsi with the jawbreaker on Omega, and Omega just caught him with that boot in the face and sort of forced it down into the mat as well. Very, very painful looking that is. Omega now taking Tanahahsi up on his shoulders. There's the one-wing angel. Ibushi with the Frankensteiner. Why is there no pin on Tanahahsi here? What there? Well, it makes you wonder. Maybe not then. I was going to say it makes you wonder whether Omega and Ibushi had an idea here to sort of continue this match going for as long as possible and try and damage their opponents more. It looked like that's what Omega was thinking, but and it does make sense to damage your opponents, hit them as much as damage as you possibly can, ready for Shabby Mania. But there is the Destino. Thank you very much to whoever it was in the comment to remind me of the name. By Naito on the champion. This will be a massive pin for Naito. Oh, it's only a 2. Ibushi kicked out. I do apologise if I can't remember your name because I've seen the comment pop up, but I've not properly read it yet. But yeah, someone did remind me of the name. I knew that as well. That's the frustrating thing. I knew it was the Destino. And it just sort of completely slipped my mind and I couldn't remember the hell it was. As Ibushi now taking Tanahahsi up into the Ibushi bomb. The last ride sit-out power bomb. Ibushi now ahead. Front chancery on Naito. As Kenny Omega drops into the pin and the team of Naito and Tanahahsi lose to the team of Omega and Ibushi. Great momentum building for Omega and Ibushi. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a great win for them too. And to be honest, they looked pretty strong throughout. And I don't know if we can take anything from this. I think momentum definitely being built. And they hit their opponents with some big moves. There was the one-wing angel there as well. It looking good for Omega because, yeah, one-wing angel to Tanahahsi. The Ibushi bomb to Naito. The Destino to Ibushi. And Kenny Omega didn't get hit by any big moves. He looks like he's walking out of this quite fresh. And not only that, he managed to get the pin for the 3 count as well, sneakily. So, great win here for Ibushi and Omega. A great way to build up momentum, ready for Shabby Mania and the Intercontinental Championship match. And here we go then, the main event of the evening. And another opportunity for me to try and beat Shinsuke Nakamura's entrance music. Because so far, every time that Nakamura has appeared in this universe mode, we have lost monetization on every single video because of his entrance music. So this time could be our lucky time. If I can talk enough for his entrance, that's the plan. So this one is going to be AJ Styles, of course, the Rising Champion, teaming with Daniel Bryan, the former Rising Champion. So both guys in this team are former champions. Taking on Okada, who's a former champion, and Nakamura. So I didn't realise that had happened, actually. Yeah, I didn't realise that. So 3 former Rising Champions in this match here this evening. So somebody could walk out the Universe Mode 2-time Rising Champion. AJ could walk out still Rising Champion, or Nakamura could walk out 1-time Rising Champion. So I like these stats, but I really struggle to keep track of them. That's the problem. And I don't know, I really should do, shouldn't I? I'm trying to think of the best ways to change things up and the best ways to keep things up to date with the blogger. I might change it. At the moment, my blogger is just far too in-depth. I don't think we need it. Nobody's using it, and I'm spending hours and hours doing it, so it's a bit pointless doing it. So I might just change things up slightly. Do it slightly differently. So check that out. I'll hopefully get that sorted pretty soon, so you can check out the blogger pretty soon. And it will be a lot more neater and tidier, hopefully, for you. That's the plan, anyway. If you don't know what I'm on about, there is a blogger blogger page for our SWE Universe mode. It's the best way to keep track of things. There's a lot of links on there to all the different playlists, and I'm going to organise it better. Like I said, I'm just going to have one page rather than loads of different pages that gets complicated to keep track of. Just one page where you'll have a link to all of the tournaments, all of the all of the universe modes, everything like that, and then maybe I don't know. I was tempted to put some of the not necessarily results, but like have Rising, then have Champions and all that sort of stuff. I like the idea of having like Rising Champion, having like the amount of reigns next time. Not the length of the reign, because that gets complicated, but the amount of reigns maybe. I don't know. I don't know what to do in my life at this point in time. Too complicated, too much going on, eh? I'm sure we can figure it out. Promise to backdate some of the stuff I want to backdate could take a while. I've got to go back 2 years to backdate it. That could take a bit of a while to sort out, but I feel like at the moment we're moving in the right direction. I want to just get things to a better state, a much more organised state, a state that we can enjoy it a bit more, and yeah, I just want to keep track of some of this. I like the idea of that. I like the idea of knowing the sort of championship reigns of each person. But it would mean me going back through all my 2K15 and 16, 17 videos to try and get all the old... we only started SWE last year, didn't we? We've done about we've done one season of most things, two of a couple. We'll get to the third season of quite a few this year, I think, in 2K19, which would be pretty nice. There's a lot of really cool rosters that we've got. Well, we've got our standard rosters. The original two. If you don't know the story of SWE, I'm sure a lot of you do. But the story of SWE started with just two rosters. There was Throwdown, and there was Mayhem. Now, I was in charge of Throwdown, and PJ Tovey was in charge of Mayhem. The idea was that we came up... Well, PJ Tovey came up to visit me for a few days when the game was coming out, and we had a ton of beer and some pizza, and we did a drunken draft, which I think was a really fun little thing for us to do, which was... I quite enjoyed it, to be honest. It was a good laugh. From there, we also had in that universe where we had Octane, which was a crossover show of both of our brands, solely based around the high flyers and cruiserweights. And then we also had Showdown, which was the same. It was a crossover of both brands, and it utilised all the women from both rosters. The cruiserweights and the women still featured on Mayhem and Throwdown, but having them on these individual shows meant that we were able to focus them a bit more. Then that carried on, and we realised our rosters were just far too big. So we then got rid of Showdown, and we brought in Adrenaline, and we upgraded Octane to its own brand. So we had 4 brands. PJ Tovey took Mayhem and Adrenaline, I took Throwdown and Octane, and again we did a big drunken draft, which I think was quite entertaining again, and we did really well with that, and it sort of evolved, and then from there on, again we just sort of evolved it again, and we added Carnage as a roster. We had Hardcore Championships on both Mayhem and Throwdown, and we decided it would be best to maybe move those to their own dedicated hardcore brand, which was Carnage, and that gave us the 5th brand, Carnage. From there on, we sort of continued on, and then we came to this idea of maybe just trialing a few other universes and trying to have each universe mode, instead of having a draft and putting a random bunch of people together based on who we're able to get, we sort of went a little bit different and sort of allowed us to pick the rosters for each individual each individual brand, that helped us get a more coherent roster and a roster that worked better together. Because I'd be sat there thinking, I wish I could do this feud, but I couldn't because I got one person in the draft and PJ Toby got the other person I wanted. So it's a bit more difficult. That's why we changed to this format instead, where we can sort of overlap with our rosters, and we just do the one brand at a time, which I think has worked a lot better for... It worked a lot better for everyone, I think, because when we used to do all the brands at the same time, it got very confusing. There was one show a week of each brand, and there was 5 other brands in between, and it got very confusing about trying to keep track of what was going on in each one. And there was no story, there was no build-up, I was doing the #1 contendership matches and forgetting about it the next week and not having a championship match. It got really messy, so... And that's why we changed this way now, and essentially we have the options again of the original 5 brands, the Mayhem, Throwdown, Adrenaline, Octane and Carnage in the WWE 2K19, but as well as a lot of other brands as well that I've been thinking of. Of course, we've got this Rising brand now, which again we can look at doing a second season of in 2K19. But add on to that a few that we've spoken about before, such as Stampede, which was a Canadian-based universe mode, utilising a lot of the Canadian wrestlers. I've also had a few extras that I've added, such as SWE Heat, which is going to be a Latin American version, so utilising a lot of Mexican wrestling and that sort of stuff. Sort of the Mexican version of Rising, I suppose, if you look at it that way. There's also Euro Trash, which was based on utilising the European wrestlers on the game, so just a lot of the base British guys, and then added on people like Cesaro, Aleister Black, Sheamus, who's British obviously, Rusev, all those sort of guys, which would be pretty cool as well. I've also got the females as well for that. And there's other ones as well, such as an Attitude one, which I'd love to do that at some point, an Attitude Era base universe mode, to utilising The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, all those sort of guys. And there was also a Throwback universe mode, where we could utilise a lot of the legends, which I'd like to do that the one time actually. It's an interesting little one to do, and there's generally some really, really good old-fashioned cores on the game as well, so that'd be nice. Get the Freebirds. A lot of the legends have been taken off the game, haven't they? Like, I think the Von Erichs have gone, Tatsumi Fujinami is gone. But we have had a few been added this year as well, so we got Rowdy Roddy Piper is added for the first time in a while. Of course, we've still got Rick Rude. $1 Million Man's been added. Ultimate Warrior, Andre the Giant. All those sort of guys. So we could really do a decent throwback roster. And that's just a taste of a few of the rosters that are on there. There's other ones in there as well. There really is a lot of opportunities. I think I've got about 12, 15 different universe ideas that we're going to put forward for you guys. And then, of course, like we did last time, you guys can vote on what you want to see. And also, not only that, we're going to look at some tournaments as well. Of course, another World Cup would be pretty interesting. And there's King of Pro Wrestling. There's King of the Cruiserweights, which, of course, Cruiserweight Tournament, which we've done once before. And so lots of really cool stuff that we can do. And I'm looking forward to really giving you guys all the information, which will be coming out all of October. I'm not going to blitz it all in one day like I did last time. We're going to sort of slowly reveal some of the ideas, and then based on the views and the likes and the comments on each video, we will then move forward. Of course, we've already decided, well, I've already decided, our first universe mode that we are going to do, and it's mainly just logistically, it's the easiest one to do straight off the bat, and it means that we can start doing the universe mode straight away without having to use really bad cores and that sort of stuff. So that's the best thing, and I'm liking that, and I feel like we're going to have a good universe year this year. And I'm just hoping they've improved the game, because it's only a couple of weeks till release, and we literally have no information. We have a roster. We know we've got Big Head mode, Zombie mode, and Bray Wyatt's House of Horrors match. But apart from that, I know nothing else about the game. I don't know if they've improved stuff. I don't know if they've added stuff. I don't know what's going on. A lot of these games don't seem to make much difference. It's like we're going to get FIFA as well, which will be coming onto the channel in the next few weeks. And as far as I'm aware, FIFA hasn't improved their career mode at all. They've literally just done the transfers. And I'm hoping WWE have really improved this game and not just spent all year developing crap that no one's interested in. They've obviously not spent that time scanning Tommaso Ciampa or Nikki Cross. But yeah, I'm not going to moan again. I've moaned every single video about that, and I can't understand it. It just makes no sense. There's no logical reason for those two not to be on the game. Especially with some of the people we've got on the roster and some of the DLC we've got. It just makes no sense for those guys to be missing. As AJ catching, I thought was going to go for a Styles Clash then, but no, went for the powerbomb instead on Okada. Now stalking Okada. Maybe phenomenal forearm could be in the future. It is phenomenal forearm, but Nakamura's on the outside. He's got Daniel Bryan up, and I don't know if Nakamura's going to get there in time to break it up. Oh, he doesn't need to, as Okada kicks out on the brink of 3. Oh, and then AJ not paying attention to Nakamura, and Nakamura is going to make him suffer for that, dropping him spine first across the apron. Of course, the hardest part of the ring is the apron. That's where the steel struts go that hold the ring together. Inside the ring, it's wooden planks, and they have a little bit of bow in them. It makes them a little bit of spring, and it makes them a lot softer to land on. When you land on the apron, it's solid steel, and it is very, very painful. AJ Styles playing keep away here from Okada. AJ's really messing with Okada here. And he catches him now up into... Oh no, a neckbreaker. Nice. As Daniel Bryan raiding the kicks right against the chest of Shinsuke Nakamura. AJ with a pin on Okada. It's not enough. Big boot to the side of the head of Nakamura by Daniel Bryan. There's the pin. Okada's back up though. He's going to be able to get across and break it up. So of course again, a big one this. The momentum could really shift for that match at Shabby Mania. Especially whoever gets the pin. If someone can pin the champion as well. Wow, that'd be amazing. AJ now bringing Okada up, but Okada tripping AJ over, playing possum. Okada now taking AJ Styles up, looking for the tombstone pile driver. Hits it. Daniel Bryan lining Nakamura up in the corner. Running knee strike by Daniel Bryan on Nakamura. Bryan knows there's no point in going for a pin because Okada will just break it up. Then AJ turns it around, hits the neck breaker on Okada, and that gives Daniel Bryan the chance. And Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles get the victory. And in both of these tag team matches, the champion has won the match, but it's been their partner who's got the pin. So it was Omega getting the pin instead of Ibushi, and now Daniel Bryan, the first ever Rising champion, getting the pin over this guy. I forgot how to talk again there for a second. But yeah, what a match that was. Interesting. I hope I spoke over Nakamura's entrance enough not to demonetize this video. But the next time we are together in 2 days' time. 2 days' time? Yeah, it's Thursday's video, isn't it? The next time we are together in 2 days, we will be at Shabby Mania. 4 episodes of Shabby Mania. The first one coming for you will be that Battle Royal / Royal Rumble. The winner going on to video number 3 in that 4 to join both Austin Aries, sorry, and CM Punk in that United States Championship triple threat. In video number 2, let's go through this quickly. In video number 2, we have got for you TM61 versus the Guerrillas of Destiny for the Tag Team Championships. We've also got the Invitational ladder match where Ricochet, of course, is defending his championship against whoever the hell turns up. Then we're going to have the Dream 4-Way, Rey Mysterio, Jushin, Liger, Ultimo Dragon, and Tiger Mask in a Fatal 4-Way. And then finishing off video 2 with the Intercontinental 4-Way with Ibushi versus Naito versus Omega versus Tanahahsi. In part number 3 was one more match which I'm still debating what to do with. After that one, we're going to have the Openweight Championship Fatal 4-Way, Joe versus McIntyre versus Elgin versus Daisuke Sekimoto. After that, we've got Finn Balor versus Jordan Devlin in a best 2 out of 3 falls. And then finishing part 3 off will be Austin Aries, CM Punk, and the winner of the part 1 Rumble in the United States Championship Triple Threat. And the 4th out of the 4 videos will solely be AJ Styles versus Okada versus Bryan versus Nakamura in a fatal 4-way 30-minute Iron Man match to crown the Rising Champion for the end of Season 1. So guys, if you have enjoyed this video, please do hit a like and of course subscribe if you would like to see some more. I'll be back with you in 2 days' time for the beginning of Shabby Mania. I've been Shabby Gamer, thank you much for watching, and I'll see you very, very soon. Bye.
Blame, shame, the ones who do.